Don't watch ecchi anime. After getting burned by 500 episodes of One Piece, I just assume all ecchi to be filled with nosebleeds, genetically modified melons, and the typical sexualized humor. However, One Piece is a shonen that is targeting a demographic of sexually frustrated teenagers, while Prison School is a seinen that is targeting a more mature demographic. Which is why I decided to give this ecchi anime a chance, and I can safely say that Prison School was beyond anything I could have comprehended. The difference between the sexualized humor in One Piece and Prison School is like the difference between people who get a good laugh at the number 69 and those who get a good laugh at pedophilia, incest, and bestiality jokes. That's not to say the humor of Prison School is dark, but the layering and nuance to the comedy makes you cry laughing while not feeling like a 10-year-old in the process. That being said, Prison School is so much more than an ecchi, and so much less than a hentai, because it manages to blend a hilarious comedy with absurdly lewd ecchi scenes, while focusing on an extremely suspenseful plotline. So, with that being said, let's take a look at the premise of Prison School. Prison School is set in a prestigious all-girls boarding school. However, a recent change in the school's policy leads to boys being able to enroll at the school for the first time. Under this new policy, 5 boys with the audacity to apply have been accepted into the school, where the student body ratio of girls to guys sits at a comfortable 200 to 1. And as someone who attended an engineering school, this ratio alone has already piqued my interest. Anyway, scumbag boys decide to squander the golden predicament and engage in a tactical mission to peep into the girls' changing rooms at night. As expected, our lads get caught in the act by the student governing body and find their freedom immediately taken away from them as they are thrown into the school's prison. It's here that they are subjected to manual labor and abuse for an entire month, while the prison overlords, aka the student council, devises schemes to sabotage their rehabilitation in the hopes of getting the boys expelled. Thus, the boys begin devising schemes of their own to save their enrollment at the school, while pursuing interests that are expected of most high schoolers. There is no shortage of strategy and scheming, as the success and failure of missions adds a lot of suspense to the narrative. But it's also the student council's attempts at blackmail and sabotage that provides more nuance to the story, as Prison School feels like a psychological anime that involves plenty of mind games via the rivalry of brotherhood and sisterhood. Regardless, you'll never find a dull moment, as the show provides a constant barrage of humor and running gags that are well set up within the narrative, and like the lewd ecchi scenes, they never feel cheap or contrived. For example, the show manages to make the secrecy of 2 scheming characters get misinterpreted by the other characters of the show, which leads to hilarious gags that feel natural with a little context.
How clumsy of me, gonna slip right by.
And just like the plethora of running gags, none of these moments are throwaway laughs, as the show develops the joke deeper throughout the story, with characters proclaiming their support of the misinterpreted lifestyle.
Look, I don't care if those dudes want to bang each other or whatever.
And posterior injuries leading to debates about catching, pitching, and power bottoming. With that being said, none of these running gags would be possible without the hilarious quirks of our characters. You'll likely expect Prison School to be a harem anime filled with crazy women, and those who do will definitely not be disappointed. However, those who came for the tits will likely stay for the dick. Will likely stay for the camaraderie and bromance, and it's the hilarious bonds of friendship that will likely produce the most laughs while having the longest lasting impact on the viewer. First, we have the duo of Kiyoshi and Gakuto. After being incarcerated, the pair decide to collaborate an escape plan for various reasons, with Gakuto being the brains of the operation, and Kiyoshi being resourceful enough to pull his weight from time to time. However, those who don't want to give Gakuto a handjob by the end of the show should seriously question their sexuality, because Gakuto wouldn't hesitate to sacrifice himself for the greater good, and deserves every tug he receives. Next, we have Hana, who is one of the 3 members of Student Council, and I would talk about Vice President Maiko instead, but footage of her is borderline hentai, so I'm gonna play it a bit safe on this one. Anyway, Hana is batshit fucking insane. She's abusive, relentless, and completely devoid of compassion towards the inmates. With this combination of traits, Hana is essentially an unstoppable raid boss, and even wears leggings to prevent the perverted boys from sneaking a peek. However, Hana has one weakness that gets unintentionally exploited by Kiyoshi, and leads to a hilarious rivalry filled with sexual tension and absurd moments that might make you piss yourself laughing. And then there are the rest of the characters, with Andre looking like a perverted abomination that behaves like a sexual masochist, Shingo who's a douche that you'll likely warm up to, and Joe, who has very few words to say, but becomes a modern-day Nietzsche whenever he does speak.
Fuck.
Last but not least is the principal, a refined man of elegant stature that may or may not have a terabyte of pornography on his office computer. Say what you will about the man, but after watching Prison School, I highly doubt anyone will be able to deny this man as an excellent role model to young boys. Overall, Prison School's characters constantly test the loyalty of brothers, with hilarious running gags and quirks while utilizing the power of friendship in a way that is less corny and less gay than Naruto and Sasuke, which is saying a lot when you consider the material you're working with. Comparing the sexual humor of other anime to Prison School is essentially the difference between comparing a pair of fake tits to a nice ass that can squat. Both have a lot of superficial appeal, however the plastic tits are cheap and forced, while a nice ass takes discipline and displays a lot of personality underneath the facade. If you're still apprehensive towards watching your first ecchi anime, then you don't have to worry about Prison School. Unlike needless fan service, Prison School is not a thirst trap, and its ecchi moments are not replacements for pornography, but instead act as a natural counterpart to the comedy, while being crucial in progressing the narrative. So, my recommendation is to double lock the doors, close the blinds, put some headphones in, and watch Prison School in solitude, as it makes you constantly ask yourself, what the fuck am I watching? While leaving you on the ground laughing, only to have you get up and want to jerk off Gakuto, because the power of friendship throughout the plot is too damn compelling. Also, Prison School is an ass man, and truly, no ass man can be a bad man.